State Representative Angie Nixon is arguably the most liberal member of the Florida House, and she is now running to be the Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate, hoping to take on Republican Ashley Moody in November.
I, as someone who has been a proven fighter over the past nearly 2 decades here in the state of Florida, my entire adult career, I've always fought for hardworking people, and I feel like now is the time that we need to send proven fighters who are going to fight all of the corporate greed that's coming out of Washington, D.C., but also who have a vision for our country, one where every person has the opportunity to be healthy, to be prosperous, to be safe and experience rest and actually experience joy. And I am that person. I am just very unapologetic in fighting for hardworking people.
Why do you believe you're better suited to be the Democratic nominee than Alex Vindman?
Sure. So, first of all, I want to say I would like to thank Lieutenant Colonel Vindman for his service to our country. But the differences between me and him, they are stark. And so I think it's important to note that I am not someone who is just deciding to get in this fight. I have been in this fight for nearly 2 decades here in the state of Florida. Not only that, I am someone who is experienced. I know what it takes to actually unseat an incumbent. I know what it takes to be outspent 5-1. I am a community organizer. I led organizing efforts in 2018 to help expand the minimum wage here in our state. And so I know what it takes to build complex coalitions of folks. I know what it takes to motivate and galvanize people who are apathetic, people who have been marginalized and told that they don't matter. And I know that I am the one who can actually win in August as well as win in November. I am not a corporate Democrat. I am a common sense public servant who puts people over profit, people over politics, and people over party. I know what it's like to have my heat break down in my home, and growing up with my mom and having to open up the oven to make sure we have some type of heat in our home, right? I know what it's like to walk outside and look in my driveway and my vehicle is gone because my car has gotten repossessed. I understand what it's like to struggle, but I also understand what it's like to deserve so much more. And that is what hardworking Floridians and Americans deserve here in this country. We need to do things a lot differently than what's been happening. Right now, these corrupt billionaires, right? And these greedy corporations are determining all avenues of our life, all types of policies. And if we start getting more people who come from hardworking families to be our elected officials in Tallahassee as well as in Washington, D.C., we'll see massive amounts of change here in our country.
I do want to ask, because it's been something that has been controversial surrounding you a couple of sessions ago when there were talks about what was happening with the Israeli war with Gaza. And I just want to sort of ask you this question, just so it's clear from your vantage point. Do you believe that the state of Israel has a right to exist?
So I believe that everyone has a right to exist. And I think it's really important to note that my entire career, I have fought for the safety and the well-being of all people. I have fought to ensure that families and children and humanity is good, right? It has a good quality of life. And so that is what led me to call for a ceasefire. I think it's really important to note that it is not anti-Semitic if you don't want children to starve, if you don't want journalists to be shot and killed, if you don't want nonprofit organizations that are bringing food over to a country to be targeted and killed, right? The same way it is not anti-Palestinian to say that Hamas should be held liable for the atrocities that they committed on October 7th. At the end of the day, again, I fought for the safety and the well-being of all people, and I'm going to continue to do that. I have the moral clarity right? Unlike many of the politicians in Washington, D.C., and here in the state of Florida. And I'm going to continue to advocate for people. At the end of the day, I am an organizer, a community organizer. I have been a union organizer. And my number one goal is to just make sure that people have a good quality of life.